that I have watched at home or attended in person every single hour of the hearings to date. I'm an educated person who did not rely on, how did Mr. Levin put it? Quote, social media commentary, end quote, to make my determination that the superintendent's claims are overwhelmingly unsubstantiated. This now months-long waste of taxpayer money for a personal vendetta aimed at ending the career of a man who would not sweep things under the rug has evoked outrage in our community. I come here wearing many hats this evening. I'm a taxpayer, a transplant to Waynesboro 20 years ago, wife of an educator, and an educator myself in my 30th year. I spent 11 years as a secondary English teacher and the last 19 as a reading specialist. Important to note, I also hold my master's degree in educational leadership and administration. Anyone who knows me well knows that my teacher hat is worn with immense pride, relentless commitment, and fierce devotion. In that vein, I am appalled that the calendar has flipped to yet another month, and this injustice continues wreaking havoc at the expense, and I'm not speaking economically at this moment, at the expense of our teachers' mental health and well-being. Tonight, however, the hat that compelled me to speak is my mom hat. I've chosen to share an anecdote with you of how this, for lack of a better word, travesty has affected my very own family. Growing up, my daughter, now 20, heard countless stories about how her dad and I, he's right back here, love teaching. We spent summers together, and she knew teaching made that possible. As she got older, we talked about pensions and 403Bs. My point here, she grew up with parents who know that teaching is simply the best profession there is. We would have jumped for joy if she had followed in our footsteps. Probably not surprising to any of you, my daughter, our daughter, is currently a junior at Penn State University Park, majoring in elementary education. And guess what? That kid, who in middle school couldn't wait to leave this small, godforsaken town we moved her to, now dreams of teaching in it. While my husband and I hold out hope that our personal stories of teaching have inspired her, we know that we take only part of the credit in her choice of vocation. The truth of the matter is, when asked, she would tell you that the other two people who had a hand in her career choice are her Summitview kindergarten teacher, who we call a superhero in the Hines house, and her 9th grade WASH's civics teacher. Both of these ladies are integral in who my daughter has become. Her WASD school career came full circle when she spent her senior year interning at Summitview Elementary School. First, under the mentorship of her former kindergarten teacher, and then as a paraprofessional for a 4th grade class. And she had the very unique experience of seeing her former high school principal, Mr. Pappas, at the helm of her beloved Summitview. I knew when the public maligning and personal attack on a man's livelihood came to my attention, I had to get involved. To be honest, my reinstate Mr. Pappas sign went up, the petition was signed and shared, and my shirt was purchased. For my daughter, we knew much more would be at stake. My husband and I explained to her that although in no way right, moral, or probably even legal, using her voice to support Mr. Pappas would most likely affect her chances of ever returning to teach in the town that raised her. Who am I kidding? These administrators have altered documents. They have intimidated teachers, and they have led a public smear campaign against Mr. Pappas, calling into question his integrity while making a complete mockery of our community in the process. Blacklisting my child, who wants to teach in a community that raised her, would be one of the lesser vile things they'd be willing to do. Fortunately, our daughter's finely calibrated moral compass guided her decision-making. She knows that supporting the reinstatement of Mr. Pappas is the right thing to do. What message are we sending? We have absolutely amazing educators in this school district and future amazing teachers like my daughter who dream of returning. The fact that any of these individuals feel like they have to stay silent or face the prospect of retaliation is shameful. Board members, on the eve of another day of hearings, I beg of you to restore our faith in this community, make the community worthy of the top-notch educators who've returned to it, and worthy of the future educators who, like my child, are watching this closely as the situation unfolds. I end this evening with words written by my daughter. Hi, my name is Lily, and I am a former proud Summitview, WAMS, and WASHS student. Throughout my time interning at Summitview, I observed an extremely close-knit community among teachers, students, and staff. The positivity, support, and inspiration palpable at Summitview made wanting to teach back here a no-brainer. When I think of my time at Summitview, particularly with Mr. Pappas, what continues to stand out to me is how excited our kindergartners would get when they learned Mr. Pappas was stopping by the classroom or attending an assembly with us. Mr. Pappas has this almost innate ability to make everyone, kids and staff alike, feel welcomed, accepted, appreciated. I was struck by Mr. Pappas's ability to greet every student by name. He made a concerted effort to foster relationships with every student, even though I knew he had many other duties to tend to throughout his workday. Even as a part-time intern turned para, Mr. Pappas always made time to greet me and make me feel like I, too, was a valued member of his school community. I hold what can only be described as a deep love for my Summitview, because my time there, because of my time there as an elementary student, and then because of my unique experience returning there as an adult. I am personally affected on multiple levels. The slander spewed against a principal I respect is reprehensible. A teacher being visibly upset but expected to return to a class of kinders to instruct and nurture defies comprehension. But worst of all, knowing that Summitview Elementary students have missed out on months of Mr. Pappas's personal greetings is just, for lack of a better word, indefensible.